The National Weather Service says it was a tornado that did damage on July 4th in Rockcastle County.
I thought I just seen somebody get murdered in front of us.
A prank that did not end with laughs, why shoppers ended up calling 911.
His life was cut short, and now his wife and children are left to support themselves.
We really wanted to step in and do an event for him.
Now they're helping the family of a man killed in a crash.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
They are blaming the damage on a tornado. A storm that rolled through yesterday damaged homes, flipped cars, and knocked over trees in a small part of Rockcastle County.
Good evening. Today, National Weather Service surveyors took a look at all the damage in Brodhead.
And it didn't take long for crews to determine that it was a tornado that caused the damage. Phil Pendleton tagged along with them in our top story at 5:30.
Yeah.
Hi.
Kevin Sullivan with the National Weather Service.
Meteorologists arrived in Rockcastle County Tuesday morning to determine exactly what came down from the skies on a summer holiday afternoon.
So that car moved from here all the way over there.
I measured it, 70 foot.
Checking out damage on Hacker Lane, including a flipped car.
They had just left and went in the house.
A car damaged by a tree branch that went in a side window and came out the rear window.
Do you think it's significant that that side is peeled down this way and down that way?
And damage to at least a half dozen homes.
Decided that based on the damage patterns that this fit a tornado pattern. A tornado debris pattern would be more convergent on a path. So we were looking for a path of convergent damage.
A funnel cloud that touched down for 15 to 20 seconds with rotating winds of up to 90 miles an hour.
Based on the fact that the car was moved quite a distance and lifted up, it seems to fit a pattern more of a tornado.
No one was hurt, and officials say had people not been indoors in an inner room, that could have been a different story.
They probably did just drop down right here and then kind of lifted right up over this ridge over here.
The tornado also uprooted trees in the area and left about 40 people without electricity for several hours. In Rockcastle County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
And the emergency manager says the storm also uprooted some trees along Kentucky 70 near the Pulaski County line. The National Weather Service has also ruled that an EF2 tornado touched down yesterday in Lawrence County. Today, cleanup started at the Walmart in Louisa. Monday's storm damaged the building and cars in the parking lot. The store's manager hopes to have part of the grocery section back open by Saturday. There's no timetable as to when the store might be able to fully open. We'll get a closer look at the damage coming up for you on WKYT News at 6.
And we are tracking some storms today, but nothing like we saw yesterday. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, storms out there today, much more scattered and centered across southern and southeastern parts of the area. And the humidity is really now beginning to ramp up. Those current temperatures are into the mid and upper 80s, but it feels a lot hotter than that because of all that humidity. Those live sky cams showing a mix of sun and clouds, and at times looking a little threatening, though most of the storms again across southern Kentucky. Feels like 92 right now in Lexington and into the London area. Muggy meter over the next few days. It is tropical. It's going to stay that way through Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday, and that will lead to some additional thunderstorms. Seeing a few of those boomers that continue to ramp up across southern Kentucky. One or two of those going to head toward Berea and across southern parts of Garrett County. Stanford, thunder, lightning really coming down as of now, and some of those cells extend a little farther to the east toward McKee. Lexington area, pretty good shape as we go through the evening, albeit on the muggy side. And across the southeastern corner of the state, we'll continue to watch what's going on. A lot of the action, though, has been centered into parts of Tennessee as opposed to the bluegrass state. As we look ahead, rounds of thunderstorms are going to continue, and yes, just like what we have seen over the past week and change, some of them can be strong with some very heavy rains. We'll track them with an hour-by-hour forecast just ahead.
Well, this is pretty alarming. They thought that they were witnessing a murder. Dozens of people outside a Walmart in Ashland say they saw teenagers shooting at each other.
But police say the teens were actually pulling a prank. Some of the bystanders caught the prank on camera. Kristen Kennedy takes a look at those photos.
I thought I just seen somebody get murdered in front of us.
Christy Ackerman took this photo of teens with guns right outside the Walmart in Ashland.
I mean, you heard the gun, pow, 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 and the boy just fell over.
Investigators say the rifles were actually paintball guns.
They could have easily gotten shot. if somebody would have had a gun.
Ackerman and her boyfriend watched the whole incident unfold. She even heard one of the victims talking to bystanders.
He told him, he was like, oh, it was just a joke. No. I was like, that's not something you say.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge.
Police believe the boys were pulling a prank based on the Purge movie series. The latest release came out in theaters the same day as the prank. What the teens did, Ackerman says, just reminded her of being robbed at gunpoint 2 years ago.
This brought back bad memories for me because, I mean, it just happens so quick. That day, I'll never forget that day.
Ashland police identified the teens involved. They say they're making sure they don't do it again. Ackerman wants them to spend a night in jail.
They could have easily been shot. They could have easily been shot dead right there on the spot by something that was just a prank.
Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Ashland police won't release any information on what disciplinary action they're taking against the teens because they are juveniles.
A man accused of stabbing another man to death this weekend in eastern Kentucky faced a judge for the first time. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Breathitt County. 31-year-old William Napier pled not guilty to murder this morning. State police say that he and 29-year-old Charles Costello got into a fight Sunday morning at the Jackson Inn Motel. And during that fight, Costello was stabbed in the neck. Napier was arrested late on Sunday night. In Elliott County, search crews have found the body of a man who they say drove his ATV into a lake. 35-year-old Jeremy Cale's body was found about noon today in Grayson Lake. Fish and Wildlife say that Cales disappeared about midnight on Sunday. They do not know yet what caused Cales to drive into the lake. And in Boyle County, deputies have arrested 3 people in a drug raid. Cedric Thompson, Candace Herbert, and Megan Fumfrey faced several drug charges. The sheriff's office says that they found all 3 in a unit at Northtown Apartments. Police say the 3 had cocaine, marijuana, synthetic marijuana, cash, a gun, and drug paraphernalia with them.
It has been a tough month for a Jessamine County family. 30-year-old Jeremy Hampton was killed in a car crash in late May. Since then, his wife and 2 young children have been trying to deal with the loss. So to help them financially, several Nicholasville businesses are teaming up. New at 5:30, Mike Byer shows us how you can join their cause.
Workers at Lucky's Auto Sports, like Nate Eldridge, are still heartbroken over the loss of Jeremy Hampton.
Jeremy was a great employee of ours, just a real family guy, just a great, all-around employee as far as, taking pride in his work and everything.
The 30-year-old's life was cut short after he was tragically killed in a car crash in late May on Nicholasville Road.
We realized that he's got a family and kids, and we really wanted to step in and do an event for him.
Lucky's is teaming up with Gearhead's Automotive Repair in Nicholasville. Together, they will be holding a fundraiser to help Hampton's wife and their 2 young children.
We're going to start here at 1 p.m. on July 17th and basically gather up as a group, cruise around New Circle Road all the way around to Shillitoe Park.
It will cost $10 to take part in the cruise, money that will be donated to Hampton's family.
Samantha's more than grateful. She is kind of blown away by, people stepping in and helping, and she was the stay-at-home mom and he was the go-to-work guy, so really trying to make that transition as easy for her as we possibly can.
Eldridge says they're going to have a cookout at the park and will also be taking donations there. He says the special moment of the day will be when they unveil this logo in honor of their fallen friend. In Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Well, again, that fundraiser is Sunday, July 17th. It starts at 1. We'll have the information for that fundraiser on our website at WKYT.com.
The Republican and Democratic national conventions are this month, and we have a good question tonight from a viewer about the so-called super delegates. Our viewer says, I would guess that most viewers, including me, do not understand fully who and what super delegates are. On the Democratic side, there are 719 super delegates, and most of them are siding right now with Hillary Clinton. Super delegates go into the convention, though, as unpledged, and they can change their mind on who they support all the way up to the convention. They make up 15% of the total available delegates. And Bernie Sanders supporters, of course, are fighting for those super delegates. There are 3 ways to become a super delegate. First, be elected to public office, like a Democratic governor, senator, or congressman, or be one of the members of the Democratic National Committee. Super delegates can also have served as president, vice president, or chair of the National Committee. On the Republican side, they do not have superdelegates by name. Their delegates are seated automatically at the convention, and they're limited to 3 per state, consisting of the state chairperson and 2 district-level committee members. Republican Party superdelegates are obligated to vote for their state's popular vote winner, so they're not unpledged like the Democratic side. To submit a good question, send an email to goodquestion@wkyt.com.
Coming up on WKYT, you have one more chance to weigh in on Governor Bevin's Medicaid program overhaul. We'll break down what the governor is thinking.
I'm Bill Bryant. No criminal case, but tough criticism of the way Hillary Clinton handled email while she was serving as U.S. Secretary of State. It comes as Clinton and Donald Trump both target North Carolina. The bottom line is ahead.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
The FBI has completed its investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a personal email server, and they will not recommend any charges.
And here in Kentucky, the governor says the state is starting to address issues with the park system. Bill Bryant has details in the bottom line.
Good evening. The major political story of the day, the FBI will not recommend criminal charges in its investigation of Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while she was Secretary of State. FBI Director James Comey's announcement takes away the threat of criminal prosecution, but his conclusion that Clinton was, quote, extremely careless means it will likely continue to be a campaign issue. Republican Donald Trump tweeted after the announcement that the system is rigged and said the report indicates, quote, crooked Hillary compromised our national security. It comes as Hillary Clinton headed for North Carolina today to campaign alongside President Obama. Their first joint appearance of the campaign is in Charlotte. Trump will also be in North Carolina later today. He is holding an event in Raleigh. In Central Kentucky's race for Congress, incumbent Republican Andy Barr has a large financial war chest and has added to the advantage. As of April, he had $1.3 million to use in his re-election bid. Democrat Nancy Jo Kemper now says she has raised $225,000 in the quarter that ended July 1st. The two will face off in November. Governor Matt Bevin says Kentucky is beginning to address issues with its state park system. The General Assembly and Bevin approved $18 million to get started with some upgrades. The parks were once the envy of the country, but the Tourism and Heritage Cabinet acknowledges that long deferred maintenance has led to problems, including a condemned conference center at Cumberland Falls State Park, and across the state, leaky roofs and even a fire have been blamed on letting things go at the parks for financial reasons. Much more on the decision and the fallout from today's announcement that the FBI won't recommend prosecution for Hillary Clinton. That's coming up on the CBS Evening News at 6:30. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
State leaders will hold one more hearing on the governor's plan to overhaul the state's Medicaid program.
The governor held 2 hearings last month, one in Bowling Green, one in Frankfort. Governor Bevin has told Medicaid recipients that they will have to pay monthly premiums and hold down a job or do volunteer work to get benefits. His goal is to move people into the private insurance market. Medicaid is currently funded by state and federal money, so the federal government must still approve Bevin's request for a waiver. He says if it is denied, he will eliminate the state's expanded Medicaid program. If you want to weigh in on the plan, tomorrow's hearing will be at Hazard Community and Technical College in Perry County.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, one of those days where you could literally feel the humidity increasing out there as the sun got a little higher in the sky, all the rain and moisture we've had over the past few days, and it's going to be with us for the days ahead. Humidity abound, currently into the mid and upper 80s. One location where it is a little cooler, 79 Danville, where we've had a little shower and thunderstorm very close by. Notice Richmond is several degrees cooler as well, where you've got some rain just to your south and southwest. Feels like it's low 90s across the entire area. We'll look at those sky cams, and again, mix of sun and clouds throughout all of central and eastern Kentucky, leading to at least an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Farther north you live, the drier your day has been. Farther to the south, been dodging a few raindrops. We've got those thunderstorms that are scattered until we get into northeastern parts of Lincoln County, heading into areas just south of Lancaster, where we've got a lot of thunder and lightning, some heavier downpours right along 52. That'll head into parts of Berea. Jackson County, we've had thunderstorms on and off throughout the better part of the afternoon. Lexington, Winchester, Nicholasville, Versailles. Hey, we've been on the outside looking in at those thunderstorms that have been off to our south and southeast. The majority of those big soaking rains now located across parts of eastern Tennessee. How do we look as we roll into the day tomorrow? Tropical. Yet again, a day similar to today temperature-wise. We'll make a run at 90. High humidity will make it feel hotter than that, but a booming thunderstorm is a possibility as the day wears on. You go into Thursday and Friday, better chances for some thunderstorms to crash on in here from the northwest to the southeast, and any storm that goes up over the next few days can put down some very heavy rain, so keep that in mind. Here's the forecast over the next few in terms of rain. The greatest chances of rain for now, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Lowest chances for now, just where you would want them, on top of your Saturday and Sunday before some scattered action begins to return as we go into the first part of next week. So watching the southern sky this evening, then we start to focus on the northwest. And even early tomorrow morning, anyone's fair game for at least a thunderstorm trying to pop up. As the day wears on, it's muggy, it's humid, and you get those rounds of storms that dive in from parts of Indiana through the Bluegrass State. A little better shot for Thursday. What'll happen as we get deeper into the week, by the time Friday rolls around, got a cold front that will be on top of the area. Out ahead of that, temperatures can really take off. We can hit low 90s before some late-day gusty thunderstorms rumble in from north to south. And folks heading up to the Kentucky Speedway for a big weekend. Saturday and Sunday looking better than what we're seeing for the day on Friday. So some good news there for the weekend across the board. Early next week, the heat tries to make a run at us yet again. Temperatures that will make a run toward 90. Quick look outside at the traffic situation across the Bluegrass region. That accident on Versailles Road has been cleaned up, but we have another accident on New Circle that is near Old Frankfort Pike, maybe causing a bit of a backup there.
I like the way the weekend looks.
Weekend right now looks really good. All about timing. Saturday, Sunday, lowest rain chances of the next week.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Well, Brian Milam is here today, and a shakeup on the UK basketball coaching staff.
Yes, but what we understand is it's not a permanent change. John Robick, a key man with John Calipari, but he's taking on a new role for a while. Sports is next. UK assistant basketball coach John Robick has been with John Calipari since 1988, dating all the way back to their days at UMass. So it would seem unlikely Robick is leaving UK anytime soon. But Robick reportedly is taking more time to deal with some family matters. We know his father passed away in April. Robick did, however, speak to the media on an SEC teleconference just last week. Today, UK spokesperson Eric Lindsay said former director of analytics and special assistant to Calipari, Joel Justice, has temporarily taken over the duties of one of the assistants. According to Lindsay, per NCAA rules, Justice has swapped duties with one of the assistant coaches, so he has more time to tend to family matters. Lindsay would not confirm that coach is John Robick. Skal Labissiere getting his first taste of the NBA. The Kings have begun workouts for the NBA Summer League out in Las Vegas. Skal follows Willie Cauley-Stein into the association. When Willie came to the Kings, he had DeMarcus Cousins to show him the way. So it's like big brother helping little brother.
It's pretty nice. He's been really good so far. Willie's a pretty chill person, and I've been around him in Lexington. He always comes back and play with us, so it's pretty good.
It's cool. It's like a little brother, kind of like how Boogie is to me. So you get to kind of pass it on, and enjoy it together. We're both basically rookies with a new coach and a new system, so it's cool to have another guy with you that's your position, that you all get to learn together and challenge each other too.
This afternoon, the Reds looking to even up their series with the Cubs, and Billy Hamilton sparking the Reds with aggressive base running. John Lackey is late to the plate on the passed ball, and Hamilton scores all the way from second. All right, Hamilton. The Cubs rally with the long ball, though, in the third. Cubbies hit 3 dingers. Javier Baez, Chris Bryant, and Addison Russell. For Bryant, that's his 25th. That leads all of Major League Baseball. But the Reds get some insurance from a slumping Jay Bruce. In the 9th, JB goes oppo, and the Reds get the win 9-5. And also this afternoon at the All England Club, top-seeded Serena Williams and her sister 8th-seeded Venus both advancing to the Wimbledon semifinals, each winning in straight sets. The Williams sisters, they have combined to win 11 Wimbledon singles titles in 2009. The Williams sisters played for a Wimbledon championship, with Serena winning in straight sets. So we will see if it happens again this year. That's sports. We'll be right back.